Hey guys, been a while since we checked in, 2 Ps and a Prov. I've got some projects in mind. I just got my hand on some pallets. So I'm going to be working on breaking these down into individual chunks of wood and coming up with some stuff. So today is September 1st. We'll be checking back in with you again later. Hoping not to break it. It's probably wicked loud.
Those nails in.
I actually hammered them out. So all on the back side, hammering it so they're easy to pull out on the other side.
A little bit of a side tangent here. We have this beautiful red maple tree in our backyard. It's huge. I love it. It's so pretty. And the other thing I love is, like, look at all this moss. I love moss. It's like whimsical forest wonderment.
Right, so today is September 13th. On the 1st, I showed you all the pallets that I needed to break down. I've finished breaking down all the pallets, and I've started some work. As you can tell, it looks a little haphazard right now.
That's a lot of wood.
But right now, we're going to be cutting some of these lengths here into 2-foot pieces so that I can use them on the project that I'm going to show you shortly. This salvage wood is a little bit more than 4 foot, so I'm going to do a 2-foot cut, come back, measure again, and then do a 2-foot cut off the rest, and I'll get 2 pieces out of this one chunk. Now, I'm a bit of a klutz. So I'm wearing protective gloves and eye protection while I'm doing any type of woodwork or...
I don't think that has anything to do with klutziness. I think that's just what you're supposed to do in general.
Making our raised beds for next year. We did a container garden this year, and I'm hoping to get it up, get a little more production out of it. So this is all from salvaged pallet wood. Trying to keep costs down to a minimum. I think as far as hardware goes, I'll probably spend about 16 bucks on screws, and it'll be good to go. It was a lot of work taking the pallets apart.
Days and days of work.
Well, I started on September 1st, and today is September 13th, and we're building. So,
yeah, not too bad.
There was a lot of wood. And I'm not really going for perfection here. I'm just trying to go for function.
as inexpensively and practically as we possibly could do this.
Because I want to increase our food production for next year, but we spent a lot moving to this house. So as much as we can save is basically extra income. Hey guys, so this is what I ended up getting done with the plank wood. If you come and look, this is going to be a 4x8 raised bed. This is made out of all salvaged wood. I did have to spend some money on hardware like screws and stuff, but pretty much made on the cheap. And then I had enough to make another little 4x4 bed. So these are going to be our garden beds for next year. We've got a bit of a container garden going at the new house here, and wanted to expand quite a bit. So today's September 23rd. So I had all this completed by around September 20th. Still waiting for some parts to come in for like finishing touches on the insides, but I'm pretty happy with what I got done. It was probably about 15 different pallets I broke down, and just was able to salvage all this wood. So these screws have little fat heads to catch the chicken wire to lock it into place. So I'm putting wire mesh on the bottom here, and that's gonna do twofold. It's going to stop the soil we put in here from escaping, but it's also going to allow some drainage and ventilation for the soil so it doesn't get stagnant. That's the theory anyway. So this is the larger of the two raised beds that I built. This is all from the pallet wood. Obviously there are some other materials I had to purchase, but the wood itself was all salvaged. I was pretty excited. I'm not a buildy kind of guy, so I felt very accomplished that this came out looking pretty good. And I'm hoping to put the finishing touches on it this weekend, so I can let the soil mature over the winter. So I'm taking the next 5-foot section of this garden fence chicken wire stuff, fitting it in. This one isn't quite fitting like the last one did. I want a little coming up the side over there. So I'm going to bend this in. The edges of this are sharp. They keep stabbing through my safety gloves. I winged pretty much all of this. I've got a couple of tools like a saw and a tape measure, but I don't have any levels or squares, so if you've got more of a better setup, you might be able to make one a little more sturdy. I suspect this will last us a good 3 or 4 seasons if we're lucky. So this one should work out to be about 8 foot by 4 foot. We're going to use this as a raised bed for vegetables, using the square foot gardening method. And the other bed I was able to build is 4x4. We're going to use that one for the herbs.
Is there in the back?
Alrighty folks, it is early on a Saturday morning here, and I'm going to be putting the finishing touches on the 2 raised beds that I built. So yesterday evening after work, I installed a bit of chicken wire to help retain and drain soil that we're going to be putting in there. So today is going to be the last construction step of adding some landscape paper to seal the bottom, and then I'm going to be using these beds kind of in a hugelkultur method, in which I'm going to lay branches and stumps and sticks in the bottom portion, then layer some leaves and grasses on top to cold compost over the winter, and then come the spring I'm going to be adding a bit of soil and compost, and we're going to be planting to try and get this fledgling container garden off the ground here. So come around here. So we just moved in July, so we didn't quite have a full season of plantings, but I'm hoping to be prepared for next year. And here's where I started putting some branches and tree trunks and leaves to start a hugelkultur. We're going to fill that about 1 foot and then top it off with 1 foot of compost. Yay, raised beds.